I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at my website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is, It's a Tough Month for Gamblers. And that is because very few planets have changed signs since last week, and the aspects indicated that it was not business as usual and that things were rather harsh among the financial signs. And oh boy, that's still happening this week. And that can greatly affect people who have taken a risk or a gamble, particularly with any financial matters. And that is because only one planet has changed in the last week, and that's the moon. It's the fastest mover. And it has moved out of Taurus, where there was a lunar eclipse and on Saturday, and now it's in Gemini at 25 degrees, which is an air sign. But there aren't any planets in the fire signs. And one of the fire signs, Leo, does rule gambling. So there can be some pressure on people who have taken risks or taken gambles or exaggerated or gotten a little too extravagant. And the reason why is that there are still 5 planets in the fixed financial signs, all opposing each other. Last week there were 6, but now there's 5. And they are really fiercely opposing each other. And so we have the Sun, which is in Scorpio, and it is conjuncting Mars there closely, and also Mercury in Scorpio. All 3 planets are within a 7-degree orb of each other within their alignments, and that's called a conjunction. And so that would triple their strength. Conjunctions occur when planets are almost at the same degree or very close to it, each within their own orbits. And it means there's no room for any other energy to get in between, because they're so closely aligned. And that's what doubles or triples their strength. And so Mars is the ruler of the sign. It's very strong. Scorpio is a fixed financial sign ruling credit, debt, taxes, loans, insurance, inheritance, grants, or money coming from any other source. And so those things can be highlighted right now in a way that heightens financial tension. For instance, if some people have gotten a little bit behind on their credit card debt, or on their school loans, or on their mortgages, or their car loans, things could be getting pretty tough in the month of November, because there isn't enough money around, and that's because Scorpio rules debt. And the ruler is there, very strong, and so is the Sun. These 3 planets in Scorpio are all opposing Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, and Jupiter and Uranus are retrograde or a little bit weaker, and Taurus is the other fixed financial sign. Well, the reason why it's such a tough month for gamblers is because there isn't anything in the other 2 fixed signs. So these 5 planets, which are coming up pretty hard against each other, are doing the same thing to the other 2 fixed signs. And so the 3 planets, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Scorpio, are all squaring the sign of Leo, which rules gambling. And they are also squaring the sign of Aquarius, which rules the future. And it rules things that are speculative or maybe ahead of their time, such as invention, or ideas that perhaps have been funded but could have sort of doubtful results, or haven't furnished enough results already. And so there can be some financial pressure or tension that way. And then Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus are also squaring that Leo, in that sign of Leo. And so a lot of people who have extravagant tastes, because Taurus is a fixed financial sign ruled by Venus, and they have extravagant tastes too, but they always prefer to spend their hard-earned money on things of very high quality, and nothing frivolous, but some things that are rather solid, such as high-priced real estate. Well, okay, if people have been taking a gamble with any of those things, or with their investments, which is what Taurus rules, then these gamblers are going to have a tough month this month, the whole month. This is only November 1st. but the whole month they're going to have a tough month. Possibly trying to meet their obligations, or else trying to come up with a little extra money if the gamble has failed. And so, between the Scorpio and Taurus squaring Leo, and then also squaring those planets all squaring Aquarius, which rules aviation and space and the whole telecommunications field and the internet and computers and anything ahead of its time. So it rules invention. Those things, or funding those things, or coming up with the money for them, is going to be a little bit tough this month, because nothing has moved in the heavens from last week except the moon, which did move into Gemini. That favors the sign of Aquarius and the sign of Libra, because at least it's one planet in an air sign, whereas there aren't any planets in the fire signs. And so there could be a couple of ways for people who are sort of on the brink of having a gamble fail. There may be some ways out of that. And one of them is that there is a grand trine in the earth signs. There are not 5 planets there anymore as there were last week, but there are 4. And so Venus is in Virgo. Virgo rules good bookkeeping and accounting and good problem solving. And it is at 23 degrees closely trining Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees. And Pluto rules management, upper management in large corporations, government agencies, or institutions, people who make policies. And so these 2 planets are trining each other. They're sort of trying to work out their problems. And they're trining that Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, which are somewhat beleaguered right now, because they're being opposed by the planets in Scorpio. And so, even if you had taken a risk, if you were around people who are being a little bit more sensible and are using their common sense to solve problems, and are working sort of hand in hand with other people who can be forming more practical policies at the corporate level or the government level or the institutional level, there may be a way to sort of save the day from any disastrous financial matters. And so just keep that in mind. There is a grand trine in the earth signs. If people sort of put their heads together, maybe they could figure out how to cover a gamble. But it would be better not to even gamble at all right now, because it looks to me like the gamblers are going to lose this month, because there's too much pressure in the fixed financial signs. Another way that you might be able to sort of save the day has to do with the trine in the water signs. There's more planets, there's 5 planets in the water signs this week, and they're all trining each other as well. And so that Sun and Mars and Mercury, who are tightly conjuncting each other in Scorpio, are trining Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So we still have, the same as last week, we have 2 rulers, Mars in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces, trining each other. That's powerful. And the Sun is there as well, backing them all up. And then we have 2 malefic planets getting along beautifully. And that, once again, is Mars trining Saturn. And so, yes, gamblers are going to come up short the whole month of November. And it's going to get a little worse before it gets better. Because as Mars and Uranus come closer and closer to an exact opposition with each other, there could be the possibility of a crash. And certainly financial problems. And those 2 planets would be squaring the sign of Leo and Aquarius, just as they're doing right now. And so that's coming up. So we have, it's going to be around the new moon, about the time of the new moon, which is in Scorpio this month. But because the water signs are empathetic and they involve healing, there can be a way, if you've taken a gamble in a relationship or with your own emotions, or whether you're just not too sure about some sort of thoughts about mankind, or which way people are going, or people who are suffering and maybe need a helping hand. That would indicate the sign of Pisces. It can mean that although gamblers look like they're going to lose this month, what it means in the end is that good will triumph over evil. And it may do it through sympathetic help behind the scenes. And that would be Scorpio being so strong, but backed up by the gentle sign of Pisces. And so, looks like justice is going to be done. When justice is done, it can simply mean that good triumphs over evil. But it could be help from sympathetic scenes, sympathetic people behind the scenes that could help in rather mysterious ways. Sometimes, Pisces works in mysterious ways. But that could occur. So, try not to gamble. And if you have gambled, you're going to run into trouble this month. So I hope that you have deep pockets and you can cover your bets in one way or another, because they're not all going to win this month, simply due to the heightened financial tension and pressure among the planets that are all opposing each other in the fixed financial signs, and that is not going to go away. And so we have to be real careful with our money. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. What it means for you, Aries, since there aren't any planets in the fire signs at all, is that I hope you have not been gambling and that you can sort of sit this one out. At least I hope you can, Aries. Because there is financial pressure and tension almost staring at you, Aries. Taurus is right ahead of your sun sign. And Uranus, which is a malefic planet, and Jupiter, which is a very good planet, are both in Taurus right ahead of your sign. That means on one side, you could be wanting to spend your money on pretty expensive real estate that is pretty nice but very high price. And then on the other hand, you could be looking at a sudden fluctuation in the value of your investments, which could make your income a little bit unsure right now. And I'm not so sure that you can solve that problem, but everybody can benefit from being using more common sense, simplifying their lifestyle a little bit. We don't all have to be buying expensive things all the time, and just maybe even just cutting back a little bit and following the more realistic policies of people that are in upper management, that can be revising their policies in order to get over some sort of financial problem. I mean, nobody's winning if they've got a financial problem, and this strong trine in the earth signs can indicate that if people really want to solve some of their financial problems, they may be able to do that. Something could save the day. And so, Aries, if I were you, I wouldn't gamble with anything right now. I hope you haven't done that in the past. But on the other hand, I hope that you are cautious about whatever you're thinking about doing. And this is still a better time for you to prepare for a new beginning, but not necessarily to make one. I mean, you could if it was not a real expensive new beginning, but if it involves a large sum of money, I would wait a little while if I were you, Aries, and instead keep planning, because there is an eclipse in your sign this spring, and that's what you've got to get ready for. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. This is a time, Taurus, when, there's not much that's changed from last week. And remember, I said it's not business as usual, and it really isn't. There is heightened pressure and tension in the fixed financial signs, and yours is one with Jupiter and Uranus there, and they are opposing the other one, Scorpio, with the Sun and Mars and Mercury there, all tightly conjunct, which triples their strength. And so, Taurus, you do like high-priced things and gourmet food and wine. And Scorpio rules taxes. So you could have some things coming up right now, Taurus. Even if they don't involve a gamble, they can be expensive for you. And you may not be able to rely on a steady income flow because the value of your investments could change. particularly the closer we get to the middle of the month. And so I think that you need to try to decrease your debt as much as possible. If you have any debt, and you really should get rid of it, Taurus. Pay it down and say goodbye to the debt. And if it involves selling something sort of expensive, you could do that and then pay down your debt and see what you have left and perhaps reinvest later on. But debt is a thing that's going to kill everybody right now. The heightened financial tension isn't going away. It's going to get worse. And it's between the two fixed financial signs. And yours is one of those. So, and Venus is late in Virgo. It's trining your sun. And Pluto is late in Capricorn. It too is trining your sun. So both of them are going to change signs. And then you won't have as much backup. That's why you need to really look more practically at your finances right now. And if you have any debt, that should be your number one focus in getting rid of it or cutting down on it. Because as I said, the financial pressure and tension, the reason why it's not a good month for gamblers, because they're going to lose this month, it's not going to get better, Taurus. The tension is going to get worse. And so you have to think real clearly on practical lines. Okay, what's good for me now? And just, keep the money in your pocket, Taurus, is what I'm saying. It's safer there, rather than going into debt. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. Oh, there's a planet in your sign, Gemini. It's the moon today. And so that moon is trining Libra, where we just had a solar eclipse, and it's trining the sign of Aquarius, which rules the future. Aquarius is really under pressure right now because it's a fixed sign, and so is Leo, and they are being squared by 5 planets in the fixed financial signs. Both Leo and Aquarius are being squared by those planets. So they're having financial challenges right now. But Gemini, you might be just, you might be around people that are having that, but it may not be happening to you. And the reason why is that, one, the moon is pretty passive, and it is a lot of light. You can sort of see ways where you could be more practical about your home life. Or you could perhaps, instead of living an expensive lifestyle, you may think about moving back to a lifestyle, well, I don't mean back, but you could be thinking of downsizing and living a more practical lifestyle. Maybe you're not as busy as you used to be. And so maybe you don't need everything you've got. I don't know. But it's fortunate that the moon is in your sign. And there aren't any planets in the other air signs. But this is a time when if you sort of stick to your budget, you're going to be okay, Gemini. Just stick to your budget. But if you decide with those planets in Taurus right behind your sun sign that you've got to spend a lot of money right now, boy, the timing is not good on that. It really isn't. Because it's the fixed signs, particularly the fixed financial signs, which is what Taurus is, that are being so severely challenged. And the financial challenge have not even reached their peak yet. It won't be till the middle of November. And so I advise you to stay out of that, Gemini. Geminis are very versatile. They can sort of shift their positions when they want to, and I would advise you to do that right now, or change your mind about something. You don't have to make a forever decision right now. If you made something that was temporary but was really more common sense, that would be good for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. This is a time, Cancer, when once again your sign has a lot of support even though it doesn't have a planet in it. And that is because the Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Scorpio are all trining your Sun, which is great, and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are also trining your sun. That's two rulers that are trining your sun. They're very strong. And then two malefic planets are also trining your sun. And the sun is trining your sun. And your ruler, Cancer, the moon, is right behind your sun sign in Gemini today. So where's it going to be by tomorrow? It's coming into your sign, Cancer. This is a good time for you to move, Cancer, a really good time. Or it's a good time to just make your own home more homey, which Cancers like to do anyway. And this is a good time for some sort of family unity, or the kind of unity where you feel that people are all sharing the same values. And by sharing the same values or having values in common, with either your family or your neighbors, something like that. Just the feeling of solidarity, or knowing that you're around people that share your values, so that your own values are being reinforced by the fact that other people share them, simply can mean that good triumphs over evil now. I mean, if you're going to follow your heart and hook up with other people who feel the same way you do, good will triumph over evil. And it may be from sympathetic support that operates in mysterious ways behind the scenes. And that's because those planets in Pisces are trining your sun. But Pisces rules things that are behind the scenes. So you might have some sympathetic support that you can rely on, and that will help you understand that good can triumph over evil now. And I would say that the result of that for you, Cancer, would be that you would know that you were blessed. That there would be something that you'd feel you were blessed because it's happening, or it's around you, or you're sharing the same feelings. And so you could feel blessed. And that doesn't happen that often in a person's life, but it could happen now for you, Cancer. And so look around. And if you see a similar heart, and you realize that you're sharing the same feelings, and there's a unity there, then good will triumph over evil. And that will make you very happy. So congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Leo. Well, Leo, you've got to walk on eggshells right now. And the reason why is that there are 5 planets in the fixed financial signs, and they all square your sun sign. And they were doing the same thing last week. And so the pressure is not letting up, Leo. If you've gambled or taken a risk or been very extravagant in your tastes, then the bills could be coming in, or there can be debts that, you've got to sort of pay off pretty quickly because maybe you have gambled or taken a risk on something that has not paid off. And that's going to continue throughout the whole month of November, with the pressure mounting by the middle of November. And so gamblers lose now, Leo. So let's hope you haven't gambled. But they do lose now. And so what is step 2? Well, hopefully you have enough money to cover whatever you've been betting on that didn't make it. And if you have to sort of dip into a secret savings account somewhere, well, you might have to do that, Leo. Just to sort of even the score, or pay off your bills, or get out of debt. And maybe you could promise yourself that you will never gamble again. That would be a good idea. Because if you are even thinking about taking a gamble this month, you will lose. It's not going to work. There's too much pressure in the fixed financial signs, all of which square your sign and the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius rules the future, your sign rules gambling. Now, there are other things that your sign rules, Leo. And there could be some threat of a gamble that's not paying off, among other things that your sign rules, such as children. Sports. Maybe you've been doing some sports betting. Well, that may not pay off either. Or it rules being an entrepreneur, starting a business of your own. Maybe that hasn't been paying off. So whatever it is, or it rules acting and the entertainment rules, and it certainly rules extravagance, and it rules horse racing. You might not have been winning too many bets at the track if you've been going. So whatever it is, Leo, whether it's in the field of entertainment or whether it's just, money and more of it that you want to spend, you are going to face losses this month, because whatever gamble you have been taking, it is not going to pay off. Or the other side of it could be, Leo, is that it's going to end up being twice as expensive as you thought it would be. So I would not make any long-term plans right now, Leo. I think you've got to get your financial house in order first, and that means paying down debt. And then you have to contemplate, the tax season is coming up, and you've got to look at all of that. So this is not a time to spend a lot of money on frivolous things or on anything extravagant. If you don't have your bills paid, Leo, that's got to be your number one priority, and get that done, because it's not going to get better if you don't pay them off. And so gamblers do lose this month. But as I said, and I want to remind you, okay, there are no planets in fire signs, but there is a grand trine among the earth signs. And that means that if people are more practical and use common sense solutions to solve their problems and sort of cut down on their budgets and listen to new policies that people in upper management can be putting in place, that might save the day from some sort of financial disaster. But it isn't going to turn a loser into a winner. Not this month, Leo. And so you have to sort of face that. And if you have extra money, well, you're just going to be paying off things this month, Leo. But that's the way it goes. There is so much debt in this world that there's an awful lot of people that want to get their hands on anybody's money. And that's why gambling isn't paying off at all now. So I hope you can just get your budget in good shape. Leo, you're going to have to do that. Because good will triumph over evil in one way or another. So if you've been thinking of, or if you've already done things that are a lot of fun but a little shady, you may get caught, or you may be held accountable for that. And that could be expensive too. But good triumphs over evil this month. And gambles lose. So just think of this as a period of time when you've got to sort of pay out, Leo. Maybe pay for past mistakes, pay for bets that didn't pay off, whatever. And concentrate on that. Because if you don't get rid of things that are costing you a lot of money, you'll just lose more. Okay, so that's a downward spiral. Nobody can afford that now, Leo, including you. So be real careful with your money. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. Well, Venus is still in your sign, Virgo. That's great. It is at 23 degrees. It is almost exactly trine Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees, and together they are trining Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. And so, Virgo, you might be the person that comes up with some sort of common sense, easy solution to a problem based on practical reality rather than whatever other people are talking about. And if your suggestions could be heard by people of influence or who are in upper management, there could be some policy changes that would benefit everybody and save the day from a disastrous financial situation. And you may be instrumental in helping with that, Virgo, because I think that, Virgos are very good problem solvers. And they tend to worry so much about everything that as they worry and sort of over-worry about things, they just automatically set their fine minds to solving problems they're worried about. It doesn't even have to be their problems. It could be somebody else's. So you always have answers to things that either haven't happened, but you have been anticipating that they could, and so you've already been working on how to solve the problem. And you could be pretty popular right now, particularly with Venus in your sign, because a lot of people might be starting to really listen to your good ideas, Virgo. And so I would say, speak up a little bit right now. Virgo is a sign of modesty. They never think they're perfect enough. In fact, they don't think they're perfect at all. But for the person that comes up, even with a simple idea of how to solve a problem that looks like it's going to sort of blow up in everybody's face, if you come along with a simple solution, you might be shocked by how many people are going to take you up on that, Virgo. The world needs answers right now. But it needs answers from people who are clear thinkers. And that's what you are. So you really should speak up right now. There could be people in upper management that are more than willing to listen to you because they're in trouble too. There's so much debt that there just isn't enough money around anymore. And so Virgo, have a little bit more confidence in your good ideas and go out there and tell somebody about them, because you might be shocked at how well received your good ideas are. So speak up if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, the moon is in Gemini today, and it is trining your sun, Libra. Well, that's always good. And it's also trining the sign of Aquarius, which rules the future. But Aquarius is a fixed sign, and the pressure and the tension among 5 planets in the fixed financial signs that are coming at each other are also squaring the sign of Aquarius, which rules everybody's future, and the sign of Leo, which also rules gambling. And gamblers are going to have a real tough month this month. They're going to have to either pay up to cover losing bets, or they're going to have to stop gambling, I guess. But I think, Libra, that you're in a pretty good position to shift your position. And that is because Gemini rules versatility and adaptability. And so, Libra, if you're facing a change in your life, or you're contemplating a future change in your life, it's helpful to have the moon trining Aquarius, which rules the future, and trining your sun. You may come to realize, if you haven't already, that it would be helpful for you to have some sort of a partner in order to advance in the future. There's somebody to share the workload. Well, that's a good idea. Or somebody that, you can just bring out your talents and share your talents with somebody else, and they can share theirs with you. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the talent in the world. So your sign does rule partnership. And so it'd be sort of nice to take on a partner, or to be thinking about that. Or just to make some sort of effort, maybe in a new direction, and it would be only a part-time effort. Gemini rules part-time things or temporary things. But if it could help get you to the next place that you want to be, Libra, that's a pretty good idea. Because, Libra, there's 2 more eclipses in your sign in 2024. And your sign does rule partnership. I don't see how you can go forward completely in 2024 by yourself. Not with those eclipses accenting partnership, which rules your sign. So this is sort of a good time to put out your feelers and sort of look for a potential partner at least. And if you want to take on something temporary, this is a good time for that too. So I wish you the best of luck. Go forward. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. Well, Scorpio, remember I said it's going to be a real tough month for gamblers, and this is only November 1st. The whole month is going to be like that. And that the pressure and tension will mount and grow, in the fixed financial signs as Mars in your sign gets even closer to an exact opposition to Uranus in Taurus, and because these are both malefic planets coming up against each other. And you know, it's the problem is that Mars is a very fast-acting planet, and it rules war, and it rules aggression, and it rules discipline. It also rules the whole medical field because it's a healing, Scorpio is a healing water sign. But when Mars decides to act, there's not much stopping it. It just decides and it does it. And so it's coming up against another fast-acting planet, which is more unstable, and that is Uranus in Taurus. Uranus rules sudden change and volatility. It rules rebellion. It rules freedom because it rules Aquarius, and that's what Aquarius rules. So Jupiter and Uranus are retrograde in Taurus, and they are opposing the Sun, Mars, and Mercury in your sign, which are all conjunct and very powerful. And both signs are being trined. There's a trine in the water signs, and there's a trine in the earth signs. And so as Mars moves forward and Uranus is retrograding, they're moving in different directions, but it's going to even out by about the new moon that's coming up in your sign, Scorpio. And there's nothing in Leo and there's nothing in Aquarius. So you're facing some sort of financial pressure or tension in your life. Your sign is backed up though. Remember I said there can be sort of a way out of the fact that gamblers lose. Well, I think gamblers are just going to lose. That's it. But if you have been overreaching, or if you have been doing something where you're spreading yourself a little thinly, you know, not really accomplishing things because you just are trying to cover too many bases, that could be an effect of having Mars in your sign. You could be too busy and also stressed out. But you have the Sun in your sign too, and you have Mercury there, which means your mind is working even faster than the rest of you is. You've got a lot on your mind right now, Scorpio. But the main thing is that there is financial pressure it means that it's not business as usual, and so you are going to have to watch and see if you've been doing any gambling, because you too could lose. Now there would be a side benefit to that, believe it or not, and that is because even though gamblers lose right now and throughout the month, good will triumph over evil. And it's because of the grand trine in the water signs. And that is because the Sun and Mars, your ruler, and Mercury are all being trined by another ruler, Saturn in Pisces, which rules things that are going on behind the scenes. And it's a healing water sign too. And then Neptune, the ruler, is there. So we have two rulers trining each other, the Sun trining them, and two malefic planets trining each other. You can't be defeated unless you defeat yourself, Scorpio. And you might do it. And that would be unfortunate. Try not to. There's a new moon coming up in your sign. But that means that you would be realizing, or you'd be coming to the realization that you have to make a new beginning. And it is involving some sort of financial pressure that you are under now. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to lose money, but you better be real careful with how you handle your money right now. And one reason is that there's a whole lot of people that could be after it. And so if you've taken a gamble, I think you're going to be losing, or it's going to cost you a lot more than you thought it would cost. Okay, so that's the reality of life. But on the other hand, if you are aligning with people who share your values, or a heart that believes the way you do, then there can be the triumph of good over evil right now in your life, Scorpio. And it could be occurring because of sympathetic support behind the scenes that occurs in rather mysterious ways. You may not know who is wanting to help you out right now. but they will. They will help you out. And if you're aiming pretty high, you're going to get some help with that. And that is why good could triumph over evil in your life, as long as you're sharing values that are true to your heart, not your wallet. Okay? People throughout the world have money problems now. And it's because of these planets in the fixed financial signs that are opposing each other. But each of them by themselves, the planets in Taurus and the planets in your sign, do have backup. It's different kinds of backup, but they have it. So Scorpio, be real careful that you are not letting money rule your life, because yours is a financial sign. And it's equally important for you to realize that sharing the same values with someone, or having compassion for others, or if you ever find a heart that's as true as yours is, then you should stick to that, because that will help good triumph over evil. Right now the evil is in greed and avarice, and there's a whole lot of people that are after somebody else's money. And so you can be in the middle of something like that, Scorpio, but I don't think that's where your heart is. And so how much attention do you want to pay to other people's financial problems? You need to keep an eye on your own financial problems and maintain, some semblance of profit there. Keep the money in the old oak chest, Scorpio. It's safe there. Don't gamble with it. And at the same time, it's important to pay attention to what's in your heart and stick with others that feel the same way. And then you'll be all right. Good will triumph over evil. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. This is a time, Sagittarius, without any planets in the fire signs, that you may feel as if you just want to sit something out or take it easy, or that the problems of the rest of the world don't have anything to do with you. But I don't really think that is a convincing argument for you, Sagittarius, because you have a fine mind. And you're generally pretty curious about what's happening in the rest of the world. You're well read. You're either reading books, or actually Sagittarians can be drawn to a lot of news outlets. Gemini rules news, and it's opposing your sun sign. And we can be drawn to the things that oppose our signs because we lack what they have. And so Sagittarians can be very high-minded and intellectual and religious and be thinking about broad topics, but they still go back to everyday resources to get their information. You see, so that reciprocity works. And so Sagittarius, you can be very mindful of things that are going on around you, but you may feel as if, oh gee, this doesn't have anything to do with me. Well, I hope it doesn't, Sagittarius, because if you take in a gamble, you too are going to lose. You'd have to sort of cover your bets now. Nobody likes to do that, but you would have to. And so, Sagittarius, this is a better time for you to sort of sit back a little bit, sort of in the grandstands, and you can watch what the rest of the world is doing, but you also need to devote some time to thinking about what is worth doing yourself. You have values, and they're generally pretty high-minded, or you're involved and interested in some of the other things that are happening throughout the world. What would be best for you, Sagittarius? Instead of just focusing on something, do you have a plan for how to follow through on something that you're interested in? Well, you could start a plan. No time like the present, Sagittarius. There's no planets in fire signs. You may as well start something that's just right for you. And even if you're only in the planning stage, that's a pretty good idea, because you got to get ready for an eclipse an eclipse that's coming up in Aries, the sign of new beginnings. That's a fire sign, and it is going to trine your sun this summer or this spring. So try to focus in on what is real important to you, Sagittarius. That's all I'm saying. I think you got the time to do that right now. And you're going to be making a new beginning anyway. So let's aim high there. Do your best. And go where you can do the best. Because that will give you a sense of purpose. And Sagittarius likes that. Okay. What does it mean to a Capricorn? Capricorn. This is a time Capricorn with Pluto in your sign at 28 degrees, closely trining Venus in Virgo at 23 degrees, so that's pretty happy. It can be that there can be some good business news coming your way, or something that is involved with your career, or either a past career or a new career that you're thinking of. Or it can be that you want to enlarge your career in one way or another. You know, sort of take advantage of new things that are out there right now and see if they would work for you. Oh, well, that would be just great. Virgo also rules teaching. And there is a possibility that you may want to take some classes right now, sort of brush-up classes that could help you just polish your skills a little bit more. This is winter's a good time to do that. The weather's terrible. So you may as well do something that sort of helps you learn, but you can do it indoors at the same time, Capricorn. And then the planets in Taurus, Jupiter and Uranus are trining your sun, but they are under severe duress, and they're going to stay that way for a while. So even though they trine Venus in Virgo and Pluto in your sign, I would say that if you are around anybody who has taken a gamble on anything, Capricorn, you need to run, don't walk, to the nearest exit and get away from them. Because you shouldn't be around people that are taking risks or betting on things that they, nobody's too sure if they could really back up their bet. Actually, if you can back up what you say, you don't need to bet on it. You are what you are. And you can just go forward with full confidence in yourself. And so Capricorn can always do that. This is why Capricorn rules our careers, our 10th house of career, and our public reputation. Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of time, and it rules respect. And respect is the number one quality that a Capricorn treasures. And they want to be respected. And that means, do your duty. And Saturn is one of these real slow, methodical planets that just keeps going. And it is also called the planet of reward for sticking with something. You may be about to enjoy some sort of reward from something that you've been doing for a long time, Capricorn. Maybe you've only been doing it little by little by little, but time has been working for you. And right now you could look back and say, oh, I have covered a lot of ground. Well, you have. And so you are in a perfect position to understand that you are accomplished in something, and that other people respect you for it. So what are you going to do with that, Capricorn? This is a good time not for you to take a bet on anything. You don't need to bet on anything. You're sort of rock solid. Capricorn rules geology. It does rule rocks and the mountains. And so I think that you need to take stock of all your talent and decide how you're going to capitalize on it, because it's time. Sure, you're going to live a long time, but you don't know how healthy you're going to be 20 years from now. So best get on it, Capricorn. Whatever you want to do, start doing it now. And you've had years to prepare. And little by little, it's all added up. Now you should go forward. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Aquarius. Remember I said, Aquarius, Losers are going to have a tough month this month, and that is because, gamblers are, because people who have taken a gamble, whether it is a gamble like on horse racing or sports, or whether it's the kind of gamble where they're developing something new and the results have been a little bit doubtful so far, they haven't really come out all the way, or they haven't matured enough. That could be from inventions that could occur under your sign, Aquarius, which rules inventions. And so there's these 5 planets in the fixed financial signs, and they all square your sun, just like they did last week. And so if you haven't cleared up a financial problem that you've got, which I don't think you caused, but you're stuck with it, then you need to really get on it this week, Aquarius, because every day that passes makes your name look bad. And you got to clear your name. And I know it means that you're going to have to deal with people that are crooks in one way or another. But they're crooks because they're making their rules their way and nobody's questioning it. And so a lot of people can be victimized by that. And you may have been too. And so the only way to get out of that is pay them off and end it. And put it in writing that this is over. This is it. And don't come around anymore, because I don't, you can say, I don't want what you're selling. And you don't need to, need to threaten them. You need to make sure that you're doing your part in giving them warnings and in clearing up the problem to the best of your ability. And then making sure that they're not allowed to come back because you refuse to do business with them in the future. There's nothing wrong with saying it, but just in case they try it again. Remember, they're the greedy ones, not you. But it's going to take money to clear your name on something. And I would do that very quickly, because the pressure in the fixed financial signs, remember these 5 planets that are in Taurus and Scorpio are squaring your sun, and they were doing that last week. Well, it's not changing. Next week they're going to be doing it too, only it'll be more exact. The opposition will be more exact. And that means the problem will get worse if you don't try to get it ended. So give that a try, Aquarius. The moon in Gemini is trining your sun. You could get some temporary help with a financial problem right now, or you could get some very good advice from somebody, and if I were you, I'd follow it. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, when I said that, yes, gamblers are not going to have a good month this month. And they're going to lose. And the reason they're going to lose is because there is the possibility that good will triumph over evil due to sympathetic support behind the scenes that comes about in mysterious ways. Okay, well, Pisces, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, because your sign rules things behind the scenes that operate in mysterious ways. And that is because your ruler, Neptune, is in your sign. And that's what Neptune rules. Most good ideas come about in dreams. Einstein said that. He said the theory of relativity came to him in a dream. Einstein was a Pisces. And that's probably true. I mean, he had a lot of knowledge to back that up with. But, a Pisces can feel things. And a Pisces is sympathetic. And even sending out sympathetic wishes to people helps others. Pisces is a sign of charity. Most Pisces do want people to get along. But they would prefer to act in mysterious ways behind the scenes, which is what your sign rules, Pisces. So I don't know if you're going to be an angel to somebody else right now, but you could be, because it would be a matter of justice. And that's because the Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Scorpio are all trining Neptune and Saturn in your sign. You have tremendous backup right now, Pisces. And it's from somebody who's pretty strong, or disciplined, or is somebody who has a strong sense of justice. And there is a possibility, Pisces, that you could be the helper right now. Or you could be the one with sympathetic support for whatever they're trying to do and help them along with that. Whether they know it or not, you could help them. And that would help help validate that good triumphs over evil right now. You may know something about others behind the scenes. And maybe in a way you could clear up a problem which had been bothering people, and that would help justice be done as well. But maybe there would not be too many people seeing you do that. But Pisces have a way of being little angels when they want to be, and they're very good at that. And that generosity comes straight from their heart. So you have so much backup from the sign of Scorpio right now, Pisces. I hope you haven't been gambling on anything, because you don't need to. There's strength behind you. And then when you combine that with your gentle heart and your sympathy, miracles can happen. And you're in a pretty good place to help with that, Pisces. And if you're not helping somebody else, you'd be surprised. It could be coming right at you and helping you. But it's gonna work out pretty well for you, particularly under the new moon that's coming up in Scorpio. But you, like everybody else, don't take a gamble on anything right now, Pisces. Because you don't need to bet on anything. You've got such strength behind you, backing you up, that's not a bet, that's a reality. That's why you don't need to bet. You've really got strength behind you. But on the other hand, your kindness and your sympathy and your support and sort of the mysterious ways that you operate, they can be of great benefit to somebody as well, and help see that justice is done so good triumphs over evil. So, good luck, Pisces. I think you're going to do a good job. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read my blog on my website, STARBORNinstitute.org. And if you would like to subscribe to my show on my Karen Campbell YouTube channel and tell your friends about it, then I'd love to send it to you every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So until then, I hope that nobody out there has taken a bet on anything. And if you have bet sort of on the wrong horse, it's going to cost you. But better to get that cleared up now before it gets worse. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week right here. Bye.